I want to come up with this video just to refresh your mind. Ambazonians are seated in their houses this morning. They have a lot of reasons to watch us as long as possible. I want to just remind us of this honorable or this elder of Ambazonia from Jakiri, who stood as a parliamentarian, like you mentioned, in the Kangaroo Colonial Assembly, House of Assembly in Yaoundé, and made prophecies that have come to pass. Apparently, Yaoundé government is not backing down. Let's listen to Wiba and we'll be right back.
You call yours, people can do what has been done to our children in West Cameroon. I call it West Cameroon because you will never take it out of our mouths again, because that is a territory in which we believe in freedom. To go out on the street and demonstrate is a basic right for us. And that is why we are saying that there are two Cameroons that came together. If you are telling us, like a state minister stood here last year and told us that what happened in Cameroon is like dropping a few cubes of sugar into a basin of water. Who is the sugar and who is the water? I'm asking the government bench of Cameroon, who is? That you rape our children. My brother's daughter has been raped in Boya. I swear to you, the government of this country, does the president of this country know that the governors and the DOs and all the administrators you have sent to West Cameroon are out there behaving exactly like an army of occupation? Our people have nowhere to go. We have made all the efforts. Our ancestors and our forefathers trusted you to go into a gentleman's agreement that two people who considered themselves brothers could go to live together. If this is what you show us after 55 years, then those who are saying that we should break Cameroon are right. They are correct. The people of West Cameroon cannot be your slaves. The people of West Cameroon are not, you did not conquer them in war. If this is what you are saying that we should live in, I say simply, no, it will not work. How do you have an army that's supposed to protect children, step out there, beat them, and rape some? It is not heard of in any country. This is the 21st century, and anybody who does that and cannot be willing for his government to pay the price, we will exact it on you. Because you are making us believe that we went to the wrong place. What is there to say? I want the world to know and to have it on record that we have made efforts. I have sat with ministers and listened to them talk. The first one was the then Minister of Justice, Amadou Ali, 10 years ago. And I took my time, drove from Kombo to Yaoundé to tell him something is brewing out there. This thing that you people are sending gendarmes to beat people up and say all of these things, there is pain in West Cameroon. And as Minister of Justice, be very careful. What happens there? And he turned around, looked at me, and told me, Mr. Wilbur, it is your people who choose to come here. He is alive. He told me. Last week, I went to see the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Famendongo, and I told him, the problems in Cameroon, the problem we have in West Cameroon, is the problem that will bring down Cameroon. If you do not handle it well, you will not know Cameroon as it is in a few months or in a few years. When people have had pent-up anger and pain, humiliation, for over 50 years, when it bursts out, you will never be able to control it. And I told him, and simply what he asked me was, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? Because you have your army of occupation out in West Cameroon, you believe that when the people will rise, even if you took the whole of the French army and added to yours, you will never bring them down. And we have no need for that. We don't have any need for that in the 21st century.
This was the classic address that changed the trajectory. It was prophetic. Nobody took that into consideration. This man is from Bui. And Commander Elvis, I'm coming to you. I know the barristers would like to anchor from there to talk to Cameroon today. But Commander Elvis, there is no doubt that the elections today will be rigged. The Cameroon government has already told us that they are going to rig the elections. They already think that Biya has won, even when nobody has gone to the polls. Of what gain is it to the Ambazonian State Army at this critical time? If the Wajos, the Zakawas of the North, in combination with perhaps maybe the Burmese, because I know some of the Anglophiles like the Agbobala, Eneke, and all of these Enonchong, these are just failures. They can't really do anything. If, and only if, the population chooses that they are going to defend their votes, there'll be chaos. What benefit will that be to the people of Ambazonia? And what can be the caution of Ambazonians in La République du Cameroon and even those in Ambazonia? How can you caution them from a security standpoint? Please, Commander Elvis.
Yes,
Commander Elvis,
Director Patty. Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Can, yes. Thank you for that great question. Right now, our people over in La République du Cameroon, they need to find a way back to Ambazonia. The Ambazonian State Army has issued several uh, audios where they have told our people that had left when the struggle started that if they know that they left with clean hands and they do not have any bad intentions, then they should all come back home. Coming back home means that that is where they would find safety, right? The Ambazonians, of course, uh, the Ambazonian State Army understand that they work following their ethos. Right? One of our ethos being they would always place the mission first, and they would never accept defeat. So if you're coming back as a black leg, you know that they would always be there. They would never quit, right? So you're coming back with clean hands. They would accept you in the community. You are part of the community that they are defending. You're part of the reasons that they are fighting for. And La Republique would not care when they start killing our people. Matter of fact, our people that are over there would be the primary target because they would easily scapegoat them, and nobody would be there to defend them. So them coming back to Amazonia is the best advice that I would be able to give them at this particular juncture. Also, their safety and security is of paramount importance to us, Ambazonians. So we can also recommend that if they feel like coming back to Ambazonia is not a best bet, they could move to safe places where they feel safe. Like for those that would be terrorists that are in Ambazonia, we continue to offer that olive branch to them. Uh, we have already started receiving some indications that some Liberia terrorists in our territory are willing to hand over their weapons for exit into neighboring Nigeria, for example. Right. So these are things that we encourage La Republic terrorists in our part of the country, in Ambazonia, to do. Other than dying for somebody that doesn't care for them, if they hand their weapons over to the Ambazonian State Army, they would be allowed to free passage to neighboring Nigeria. We also encourage our people that are over in La Republique to find other options. They could also go to Nigeria as well, or they could come back to Ambazonia, which is the best bet for us. But as of now, we are confident that the momentum that is building up, all the Ambazonian state armies that have been called to duty, act to respect the duty call and flush out any La Republique remnants that would be in our territory. So we ask that our people also come back to their territory where they would be safe and protected. Are you?
That's amazing. I know you quickly want to. I like us to recap this momentous address of uh, Honorable Joseph Weber. He spoke, nobody listened, and here we are today. It's a war Cameroon is aware they cannot win. But you look at the game plan right now, in reflection of everything Honorable Weber said, you're asking yourself, what is Cameroon's game plan, Barrister Fru? They are aware they cannot win the war. They know very well they cannot win the war, but they don't want to stop fighting. What's their game plan? Why is France insisting to coronate Biya even after today as president? Barrister Fru.
Paddy, when I first spoke, I was laying the groundwork for what might happen in La République du Cameroon, which may affect us. And I take this opportunity to thank Commandant Elvis for laying that blueprint. For security reasons, he has not gone into depth, but he has laid the blueprint. Whether Churuma wins or Bear wins, according to all the reports, according to all the security reports that I happen to hear, there will be chaos either way. Our citizens, the citizens of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, must be protected at all costs. We must do what we have to do to protect our people, to make sure that the chaos does not spill over the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Like Paddy, you just heard our military expert. But what I am saying is that we have to know what is happening in La République du Cameroon in order to best prepare for tomorrow. It is a given that we have boycotted. We are not taking part in these elections, and we will never take part in any election of La République du Cameroon because we are not part of La République du Cameroon. That is a given. Now the question is, what do we do to ensure that the chaos that is looming in the air does not in any way affect our people negatively? We have people who are living and working in Douala, in Yaoundé, in Bafoussam, in other parts of La République du Cameroon. They are our citizens. We have the people living in the homeland of the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. And there are porous boundaries crisscrossing into our territory. The Mongo is wide open, Matazem is wide open, and there's a possibility of a spillover. What do we do to ensure that our people are protected? That is one of the raison d'etre of the proper management of the boycott. But I haven't said that. We need to know exactly what is happening in La République du Cameroon and how. Honorable Weber had predicted it very, very succinctly, and La République has come to live through what Honorable Weber said. But they are not perturbed. They have lost soldiers just like we have lost soldiers. We have lost our citizens. More than 65,000 of our people have perished in this war. There is no turning back. Any kind of turning back would be a terrible betrayal of the memories of those who have given up their lives so that we can be free. But those who are still living, we have a moral and strategic duty to protect them. I am talking, and I think that Commandant Elvis is listening to what I'm saying. Everything should be done to ensure that this chaos does not spill over. This chaos may not be today, but when I listen to the renegade minister of territorial administration, I know they are preparing an onslaught, because the winner is not going to be Paul Biya. I am a political observer, and I've watched what has happened. I've seen the way the young people are behaving. The same thing happened in '92, but not up to this, not up to what is happening now. And Frundi won that election. The only reason why Frundi was not president is because we had no protection, we had no way to fight, we had nothing, no other means to fight. Can I say that? Can I make the same argument that Chiruma has no way to fight? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't dare to do that. Therefore, there will be chaos. Either way, if Chiruma wins and Biya declares himself a winner, the French will come in and a coup d'etat. In a coup d'etat, you can never determine what happens. If Biya wins, and I don't know how, if you look at the way it is going, the fraud has been well prepared, buddy. If you look at the figures, they release the figures of registration in all the 10 regions. I was particularly interested in Ambazonia, the northern zone and the southern zone. Can you believe, buddy, that CBDM is claiming to have registered 658,000 registered voters in the northern zone and 520 something thousand in the southern zone? When did that registration take place and how? Because the Ambazonian State Army ensured that such registration procedures don't take place. Even if they take place, they were done in hiding. But these are figures concocted from Yaoundé by the so-called Eleka. And what is going to happen is that CPDM would use those figures and come out with a results of election from the northern zone and the southern zone of Ambazonia and claim that they have won that with this amount. You know what that means to us? It's going to happen. But we have a duty right now, beginning from today, to ensure that whatever chaos erupts in Yaoundé, Douala, and other La Republic territories does not spill over our territory to affect our people negatively. We have been through this war. We don't want any chaos again from La Republic du Cameroon coming from our borders. I think I am one of those who is very jitty about what may happen in La Republic du Cameroon. We're talking about predictions. We're talking about predictions. Well, nobody is sure of what is going to happen. But I'm saying that the chances are high that either way, there will be chaos.
Yeah, Barrister Fru, I think that I would agree with you that the situation now could be different. I just want to give an account before giving you the mic, by Mbeseha. I was born and raised in Bamenda. I would say that as far as this regime is concerned, no matter how young I was, at that time less than 10 years old, I have seen everything. I was in Small Mancon Primary School, Catholic CS Small Mancon, at the time when Mr. Bia was rigging the elections. We had, as small as I was at the time, very small. We had tear gas dropped in our classrooms. Those my classmates listening to me, you are aware of this story, so we witnessed it. But that's a history that cannot just be told to us. That's a history that we live. I will beg to differ with you that the momentum that was from the southern Cameroons at the time, northwest or southwest, right up to the far north, was outweigh the momentum right now. It is true that Chiruma has used a very short time to mobilize the youths, and he has the advantage of the social media of this age. But at the time, you had people that were willing to eat brimstone just to fight for who they call powerful. You look at the crowd Chiruma was pulling in the Bamileke land is way less than the crowd. History has it that no Cameroonian politician has pulled the crowd that Frundi pulled about 30 years ago, or more than 30 years ago. So I wanted to bring that. Fast forward to 2008. I think I had just come back from South Africa, and you had the strike, economic strike that took place, and Bia came out and said apprentice says and had his army. The youths from Guakele, the Anglophones, let me use that word. I hate the word Anglophone, but let me use it for convenience. Were the ones who gave momentum to the strike against the government because of the increase of prices of goods and services. Fast forward to 2018, you saw that without the involvement of Southern Cameroons, the Burmese, those in the Cameroons, could barely sustain any successful protest against election rigging. They used rubber bullets while they were using iron bullets to kill the people in the Southern Cameroons. Rubber bullets took everybody home. They could not just sustain it. Let's hope that this time the man from North can inspire that. But this is where I'm coming with this account by Mbeseha. My question is the strategic move by the government to encourage people to boycott. Barrister Fru is saying that one of the ways or the reasons for this boycott is not just the fact that Amazonia is not involved in the organization of this election, and the election is a legitimization of Cameroon's fraud, participating as the people of Southern Cameroon. It is just to protect our people. How important is it? And aside from this boycott, how important is it for us to protect the waste of Ambazonian lives because of a charade called elections? By Mbeseha, please.
Well, it's not really important, but this is the problem. You ask, after Weber did all that, why is Yaoundé still fighting to come and conduct the elections with Ambassador? If it didn't come to us, we would not be having these debates right now. We're having the debates because there are people in Boya, in Kumba, in Bamenda, in our towns, pretending to vote for candidates in the elections. But why are they even doing it? Why are they even doing it? You must ask yourselves. These were not manufactured from England. They are not manufactured from your own brothers and sisters. Why are they doing this? They are doing this. We are talking about Chiroma or whoever. Simply because Yaoundé, call it Francophone, call it La République du Cameroon, has been able to find allies amongst our people who will support them in whatever thing they say. After all, we heard them say Chiroma was campaigning in Bamenda. Well, like he went to Bamenda to campaign, he went to Buya, he went to Limbe, he did all that. Chiruma has become the queen to some of our own brothers and sisters, notably the Munzus, notably the, in fact, let me just call them the Federalists, Eric Changes and the rest. They have found solace in Chiruma because, why? Because they believe that Chiruma, if he wins, he would be able to give them, he would be able to decide for them a federation. At the very least, he will discuss it with them. And my concern is that these are not lightweight, these are educationists. They are very properly educated, most of them lawyers. You cannot underestimate the strength of Akere Mona. Neither can you underestimate the educational standing of people like Munzu. But what seems to me, which is making this war to come to us through our brothers and sisters who are federalists, is that they seem to have lost sight of what the whole thing is about. And I wonder whether it is just because they have not read or refuse to understand the dynamics behind Cameroon Federation. They believe in all that. But I can say here, 90% chances that they will never get what they are talking about. Because even the so-called federalists, be it Chiruma or any other person there, is built on falsehood. I just don't know why our own brothers and sisters have not read enough about this thing. The federation that they are promising is not different from what Ahijo lied to us and lied to the world. Because Ahijo, even before we purportedly joined them, where he was still the premier of East Cameroon to become independent yet, this issue was being discussed. And Ahijo was called, he was the prime minister, then he was the premier. He was called to the United Nations. And there, he was asked specific questions by Mexico, Liberia, and New Zealand. Mr. Ahijo, we are thinking about this union tomorrow. What do you think the union will be like? Ahijo replied, and I quote him, "We do not wish to bring the weight of our population to bear on our British brothers. We are not annexationists." This was a promise made before the United Nations by the would-be president of Cameroon. It was 1959. 2 years into that came 1961. They purportedly joined us. We purportedly joined them on the pretext of a federation, which federation was manufactured and tricked by Hugo as the head of state. Lied to Funchal, lied to the Indales, lied to our own forefathers, because he never ever intended a federation at all. Am I saying this by invention? No. Less than 8 months into to that union of 1st October, the very Ahijo went to Obolova on the 4th, between the 4th and 8th of July 1962. We had not been there for 1 year. And told a cheering crowd of his UC party, he was organizing the UC General Assembly in Obolova, and told them that the federation he had given to Ambazonians to call it West Cameroon was just a transitional thing, that it was going to go away. He only believed in a centralized state. This is less than a year after he promised the United Nations of a federation. I'm saying this so that our brothers and sisters who are supporting this evil empire, believing that Chiroma or anybody will come and give them a federation, should understand. If they didn't read this, they can go, this is all archived somewhere. I'm reading them documented somewhere. They're all there. And so See again, this is what Weber said, but these people are bringing it to us because they have found branches in us. They have found our brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers who have done this nonsense, knowingly or unknowingly. But again, I've just cited what happened in 1959, what happened in 1962. That's not the end of it. They killed the so-called federation because Ahidjo wanted a centralized system. That was 1972. He killed it. Almost 20 years, 18 years into it, came 1990, where they were just uprising all over Africa. And that forced what they call the tripartite. The tripartite went there and they were forced to draw a constitution. We had us there, powerful brothers in that delegation, 11-man committee to do the constitution. Very, very powerful people. Dr. Munzo, Dr. Professor Anyangwe, Barrister Elad, and Benjamin Etoy, who was a retired Procurator General. They were all lawyers. They went to that tripartite thing with a powerful constitution to be a federation. They argued it left and right, and they were simply ignored because they were the minority. They threw it away and met the 1996 constitution without mentioning anything of that nature. Were these people the Munzus, the Elads? Are these not people who could believe in them? Legally, they were legal giants. They were simply ignored. And so this idea of our brothers and sisters thinking that they will get a federation to satisfy our needs is just a joke, an absolute joke. Again, not too long after that, when this war broke out, they called the tripartite in Yaoundé. And they recruited among our own people, powerful people. Munzu, who had been in 1993 AAC 1 and 2. They recruited Agwambalas, he's a powerful lawyer. They recruited churchmen, prelates, Christian Tumi may say rest in peace, Nkia, Funky, and others. So many of them. They went there and argued federation and lost. That was 2019. They argued federation and lost. Not because they didn't have good arguments, but because the majority overrode them and said, you will never have it. We're going for a centralized system. We'll divide your region into whatever thing. We'll give you something fake called Charles of Chief. We'll give you what we want, not what you're looking for. And so this just 2019. And so how do these our brothers and sisters today, that was just 5 years, 7 years ago, how are they recruited by these people preaching the same doctrine in Yaoundé today, that they will give you a federation? That's somebody of the caliber of these people, or Munzu,
Yeah.
of the prelates, a Catholic bishop is well read. These are people who have read, that they will believe in
Yeah.
them, that they are recruited to enter this crop of killers. So again, your question was, after Wilbur said all that, why are we here? We are here because the people want to incorporate us into their system. And if they do, which they are doing, through those routes that they are incorporating, if the war breaks out, as Barsanso say, and it is highly possible, it will come to us. The Eric changes of today and the rest, who are all our own brothers and sisters. That will be the linkage. You might want to run away, but they have your own brothers and sisters in Bamenda and Bo and Kumba and so on and so forth. They are there. And so this is a criminality that I cannot understand. This is stupidity, or what is it even stupidity? How could you explain, for example, that the people with the caliber of Muna Akere, with all that reading, with that international experience, cannot read these facts? They still believe in a federation. That's why they are following Chirima. Or somebody who even just say something, oh, I will discuss with you. They accept. You go, they will discuss with us, but they will give you what they want, not what you want. They will never have a
Yeah.
federation. And I think this week, before this week ended, I was in a different forum. They were discussing this thing. Munzu was there. They asked him what federation. He said he didn't even know. He doesn't even know how many states will be in his own federation. The other people will come and decide if they want their own federation, then the former would be agreed. Would that reflect what we entered in
Barrister
1999?
Mbeseha, Barrister Mbeseha, I cannot even agree with you any less, because these enablers, the Enon Chung, the Agbobalas, the Eric Chinges, the Munzos, these are failures. These are traitors. These are enablers of the Franco-Cameroon hegemony. They know that they have, but they don't know how to come back. So they are, in my opinion, when I sit down to observe the landscape of the political situation right now, it is clear to me that those who call themselves Anglophones, these enablers, are really people who have no vision. Because if you ask them, what is the vision of Issa Chiroma and what is the guarantee? Because talking about the future of a people, you're getting into an alliance with a political candidate. There should be an agreement based on understanding, and there should be a collateral. If after Agbobala led the consortium, and until today, lawyers in Boya are still going to the governor, not even to Yaoundé, to send petitions because the courtroom is still in chaos, infiltrated by Cameroon. You ask yourself, this is a guy who has no collateral for his political opinion. So there's no doubt that these guys, they feel like hiding under the umbrella of Chiruma, who purportedly is going to win the election, will overshadow their guilt of betraying their own people.